Hey guys, welcome back to Phil Plays TCG, and today's the day we've been waiting for since it was announced like almost 2 weeks ago that we were going to be getting a ban and limited list for this game. The first time ever, honestly. And a lot of people were speculating on what was going to get hit, what was not going to get hit, would Top Coup live, would Top Coup not live, and we finally have our answer. Now, before we get into the topic of the video here, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 2,000 subs. We just hit 1,700, and I cannot say how thankful and grateful I am to have gotten to this spot here. So thank you guys for all the support. I love you all. Let's keep talking about Dragon Ball Super Fusion World here. So 3 cards were in all hit during this. The 2 banned cards, which we all kind of thought, guessed were going to be 4-drop Ribrianne and 1-drop Roshi. Now, it is unfortunate that Roshi is a regional card promo, and that's actually the picture I have right here. This is the one I actually pulled at the Peoria regional as well, and I kind of knew that there was something bad going to happen to it. I tried to sell it as quick as I could, but unfortunately, understandably, I should say, nobody was willing to buy the card because the rumor that it was going to get hit. And to be honest, I agree that it needed to be hit. I think, in all honesty, it needs to be banned. But it does suck that this card was given a promo version you can pull out of your tournament participation. And so I was thinking, like, okay, maybe they'll limit it to 1. At least that if you pull the 1 tournament promo, you can still, like, run it. I do feel bad for those people that are going to be pulling this card, and now it is going to be useless after July 1st. Ribrianne, though, needed to go. This card broke the fundamental rule they set in set 1, where double strikers were strong, but they had some back. They were dead cards unless they were on board. Ribrianne was never a dead card. It was 10k combo power. It can be played for 1 off of Top Coup's ability, and it can be recycled through Glimpse. It was overtuned. This card needed to have no combo power, among other things. But glad that Ribrianne is gone. Sad to see Roshi go, but it was needed. Unfortunately, Bandai made the mistake of making this card a tournament promo, so I do feel bad for the people getting it once again, but it needed to go. These 2 are awful for the game. And the thing that I disagree with is limiting Kefla to 1. Now, you're probably thinking, whoa, Phil, you've been talking a lot of smack about Kefla. Why are you upset that they limited it? Because the problem was that Kefla is a good generic red card that in other red decks, I believe is fair. You pay 4 to get to play 2 bodies. I think it's a very good card, but it should be a very good card if it's a super rare. The problem was it was broken in Top Coup. This card was only broken in the Top Coup format because Top Coup could play it for 1. It was completely fair in decks like Beerus, which had to give up pretty much its whole turn to play it. The fact that they're limiting it to 1, first of all, hurts everybody who bought full play sets of this card in its alt art form, which I have the picture of it on here. I do feel bad for those people. And basically this, I think, was a little overkill. Now, while I do believe Top Coup is still going to be a good deck, this card pretty much helped other red decks like Beerus stay afloat. So, my opinion, this was a bad hit. The card needed to... I know Bandai said they didn't want erratas, but they really needed to errata this card to being a 25k 25k body. That would have solved everything. But they decided to limit it instead, which unfortunately is now going to see a huge repercussion in the format. What this hurts, it hurts these 2 particular leaders. These are the 2 best red leaders that were in the meta, Top Coup and Beerus, with Kefla being limited to 1 and Roshi and Ribrianne being banned. Top Coup no longer has its early game, and it doesn't have its late game anymore. Actually, with Kefla being limited to 1, it pretty much doesn't have its mid game either. Top Coup needed to see Roshi after Roshi in order to awaken early, or at least start the awakening process on as soon as turn 1, and it needed Ribrianne in order to close out games with Ribrianne Glimpse, because pretty much that's how Topku always won its games. Like 99% of its games were won by Topku playing Ribrianne, swinging, double Glimpse. Now it doesn't have its end game. It's going to have to focus on finishing the opponent with other types of moves. It's going to have to come up with a new end game strategy. But of course, people are going to say, "Oh, without Kefla, this deck is dead." I don't believe this deck is dead. I do still believe it is a solid card because you do have other great options like the Gohan, Android 17. There are some good options, but I'll admit, this has dropped severely. It is no longer the top deck in the format. It's probably dropped down to like low B, high C tier. It's still a good deck. It's just it lost a lot of its momentum. But red decks, I believe in general, are very they can adapt. They're very adaptable and they can come up with new strategies. This deck is no longer going to be able to, go down as quickly. Well, I say as quickly because red still has so many self-awakeners. You have the 2-drop hit, you have the 2-drop Caulifla, you have 3-drop Gohan. You have other cards that can just help awaken sooner, but it just lost its huge play to go wide. And of course, Beerus was kind of in a way a Topku deck without a Topku leader. It was still very, very good. The deck had great board removal. And like I said, in Beerus, Kefla was fair, paying 4 to get a body that played another body. Now, with that gone, Beerus has lost a lot of its aggression as well. And so, once again, I think Beerus probably drops down to like a B tier deck. I still think it is good, don't get me wrong, but it certainly is not as good as it used to be. And unfortunately, because red, it took a huge blow, I think a little more than it needed to, it is going to change the meta going forward. I am not saying that I wanted Topku not to get hit. I absolutely did. Topku was destroying this meta, and it was making people not want to play the game. That is just facts. Unfortunately, the deck was way too overtuned. It needed to be hit. I just think they went about it. They almost had it. They almost had it with the bans. But the Kefla element, I think, was a little too much. It needed to be eroded instead. What this does help, though, is basically everything else. Blue was one of the few colors that could hold its own in the Topku meta. It couldn't do it did well, but it was always, it always came down to matter of skill and matter of seeing what you needed to see when you needed to see it. Now, blue is going to still be a very, very powerful contender. Now it can tweak its deck a bit because now we don't longer need to run the 1-drop Zamasus, and we might need to start running some new tech options because of green. Green is coming back with a vengeance. Cell and Androids were 2 of the best green leaders in the last format because if they got to their end game where they were able to stack energy upon energy, it was very difficult to beat green. Blue into green is damn near impossible. Green will always stomp blue because blue had to always tech their deck to handle the Topku matchup. It couldn't tech their deck to fight green and red. So now that red is not going to be as prevalent, blue is probably going to start teching things like Absolute Lightning and some other options to help with the green matchup. And green is just going to now be able to play their bigger bodies because, hey, they don't have to worry about dying so quickly to Topku. Cell and Androids, like I said, very dangerous decks. These actually topped fairly well in the last couple regionals, or did a lot better than people thought. So I always said Androids and Cell were good decks, just Topku held them back. But now that Topku and Beerus aren't as prevalent, these two are going to come back with a vengeance. And I think green is once again probably going to be the best color in the game, which is unfortunate, but I do think yellow has a decent matchup into green, and blue can tech to make the green matchup a bit easier, but it is still going to be rough for us. Like I said, yellow is going to have a good time now that it's got some more leg room, some more freedom to work with. And you know what? People might actually start going over to U7 Goku, because now that Topku and Beerus are gone, U7 Goku honestly is a solid deck that can still go wide. The problem is it has the weakness that Topku didn't, which was hand size. Topku can go, U7 Goku can go wide, but it couldn't get that amazing draw power that that Topku did. So I felt like this is a much more fair version of Topku in a weird way. But yeah, this is going to be interesting going forward. The ban list takes effect starting July 1st. So Gen Con will be the next tournament that I'm aware of that will have these updated rules. I'm very excited to see what locals look like in my area, even though there's only a handful of us. Probably going to be more green, which is going to be a little scary. Last but not least, they added a new gameplay rule. Before, when you went first, you had really no benefit. You got to charge, maybe play a 1-drop, but you didn't get to draw, and you didn't get to attack. Your opponent, on the other hand, going second, they got to draw, they got the energy marker, and they could swing in. Now, looks like starting July 1st as well, you will now be able to draw a card going first, which is huge. I love this. This is awesome. This is what going first needed. Some people thought, okay, if maybe player 1 didn't get to draw, they should get the marker instead, which I can see the argument for that. But being able now to draw going first makes it a little bit more consistent and a little easier in the matchup, because honestly, it sometimes can come down to, oh, I felt confident, but because I went first, I lost. So I'm curious to see what this does to the meta. Like I said, all these effects take place July 1st of this year, so in about 12 days. So I'm super excited. This is hopefully a new start to the meta. I hope it doesn't get ruined again by green, but we'll have to see. But hey guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you like Dragon Ball Super Fusion World content, One Piece content, and Masters content. You are in the right place. And until the next video, take care.